Good morning, everybody. Great energy here. It's really amazing. A lot of people coming by our booth. Really happy to be here. I wanted to talk a little bit about getting ready for AI. My name is Martin Kloock. I'm from Quest Software. I'm leading all of the R&D and engineering for our company. And I'm really happy to share, a few things about our company and also about, how are we getting ready for AI? What should you consider to get ready for AI? And I'm trying to get my clicker here. There we go. Good. So before we start, I just wanted to say a few words about who is Quest Software, because I'm sure not all of you know who we are. Quest has been in business for over 25 years. Our focus is all around supporting the Microsoft platform, Microsoft Office 365, Active Directory, Entra ID, and we're basically focusing on two big areas. One is migrations. What does migration mean? Migration means if you, let's say, buy a company, if you have a disorganized environment, some of your people are in Google and somewhere else, we help you moving all of that together into one place, modernizing your environment, moving to Office 365. It's a really complex area, a lot of different migration routes. And after that, we don't leave you alone. We also have products that help you making sure your environment is protected from attacks, from all of the cybersecurity threats that we're seeing today. So we have products for that as well, which means you can use us to migrate, consolidate your environment, and you can also use us to keep guarding it, keep making it resilient. We're supporting all types of migration paths from different sources into different targets. We're really there to support you with each and every case, lots of expertise in that space. We're also, when it comes to protecting your environment, we have a lot of products that help you identify risk, identifying what are your most critical assets, protecting those, even locking them down against any attack paths. And we also help you to recover. If you have a malware attack or anything of the like, we help you recover, getting back online, being back to operational. Now, why am I here in Slovakia? Quest actually has a rather large presence in Slovakia. It's been kind of grown over time. We did 2 acquisitions, a company called Metalogics that we acquired in the same space, Quadratech here in Zelina, and all together is now Quest, and we have quite a large presence here in Slovakia. Really capable, mainly engineering, really capable people here, and I'm always excited to come and learn more. So that's for introduction. Now, what are we talking about today? Today, the topic is promised AI, and how did that come about? So about 7 years ago, we decided to modernize our whole product portfolio. We went maybe a little late to the game, but we went into the SaaS space, revamped everything, and make sure that that all our products are available, as a SaaS product. And what we were really excited about at that time when we started was getting more insights into what are people actually doing with our products, how are they using it, being right there with the customer instead of before shipping a product, it's running on-prem. Because of security, we usually never have any insight into what's happening. It's really hard to help you. And we were really hoping that with SaaS, we can take advantage of being right there, seeing what you're doing, and helping you along the way. And we started out with that, and we had a lot of unexpected learnings along the way, which I will share later. But what we still did, even though we didn't know it at that time, we laid a really great foundation to put AI on top of what we're doing. And this is really what I want to share today, just a couple of lessons learned. What did we do? The mistakes we made to get ready for AI. I will not talk much about AI itself. I will only talk about getting ready for it. This is probably the most important thing that it's not new, but I think people come to realize this more and more lately as AI is getting bigger and everybody's talking about it, that what really matters is the data. There's a lot of technologies evolving in the AI space. There will be more. There will be the next big thing. But it all comes back to what data is it operating on. AI can only be as smart as the data that it's operating on. And we're seeing that in the business. We're seeing some quotes from all of the famous people. We're seeing some actions, right? I'm sure Elon Musk did not only buy Twitter for free speech. I'm sure he also liked the data that he's getting, because it's a real treasure chest of data. So the bottom line is, the way we think about it at the moment is that we really want to focus on the data. We don't want to focus so much on AI. Obviously, we're using it, we're experimenting it, but from my perspective, in managing all of the engineering effort, data is really my focus, because it's really the foundation. AI will evolve, data is there forever, as you can see here. And then the most important lesson that we already learned, we knew it before, but sometimes you know something and you still don't always act that way. You can never recreate data from yesterday. And what this means is that while you're talking about what you're doing with the data, you actually need to already make sure you capture your data. Because if you don't, you can't go back and do it again. So that was really one of the most important things for us. And then the journey started beginning, because first we just listened to everybody, and they say, oh, just keep all your data, use it later, it will be fine. And we did just that, and we're still doing it, and that's okay. We capture everything, we store it forever. We also make sure, obviously, the legal side, that customers are aware of it, and that's all fine. But that's only a small part of the story, because there's a lot of problems with that. It's not as nice as I promise you, right? You can't just go back and use your data, because what you find very, very quickly is it's not normalized. Some information is missing. Some things don't make sense. You have noise in there. And we realized very, very quickly that it doesn't work really that way. We went back to the old data, and we found that it's somewhat useful, but not really useful for what we wanted to do. And then, when we started using it, there was always one thing that was missing. We basically had to stop at 95%. So we had to invest a lot of effort in training the engineering teams, everyone, while we're implementing things in the product, that we don't only dump data somewhere during usage, the traditional logs, everything is unstructured. We really had to make sure that while we're implementing new features, new things, we also think about the data that we're keeping and what we are going to do with it. So we don't just store it, come back later. We really think about it at the time that we're capturing it, at the time that we're implementing it. And we don't even stop there. We also make sure that we're actually using it, that we have graphs and insights and reports that are continuously being used. Because what we learned is if you don't, you come back a month later, your data format has changed, something has changed, everything is useless, you're back to square one. And so this is why we put a lot of emphasis on integrating this into our engineering practices and the day-to-day, reviewing it, using it, keeping it real, keeping it live. And that got us a lot further with our data lake, as they say today. Then the other thing is, it's not about just storing data, because very often you don't know what you're storing. So once we started thinking a little bit more about employing AI on top of it, experimenting in it, we realized very quickly that we do need to explain that data. We do need to explain to somebody, and in that case AI or a human user, what we're actually logging. How is it related to other things? And there are multiple ways to do that. Simple is just do the right column labels. You can also have different database where you actually accumulate descriptions and other things. So we're doing all of that. And what we also found very quickly is that we really need to think about other data sources. Could be anything, from our Salesforce data, from whatever you can pull into to correlate data, to see what's really happening. Product performance data mixed with usage data and other things. That becomes really, really powerful. And then, obviously, and this is becoming ever more important, you also need to think about the data that you're storing. Are you compliant with all of the data regulations? What are you doing with personal information? And we put a lot of emphasis on obfuscating it, storing it in a way that it's no longer PII, but still useful for us. And there's always trade-offs, obviously. But I think we've really come a long way with this. So these are all things to think about. And then last but not least, there's a lot of terminologies in here that are internal to us, so you don't need to worry about it. But I wanted to share these two graphs, because when we started our SaaS journey, we wanted to be quick, so we built engineering teams around products. Not a microservices approach, but I would say a macro services approach, where engineering team have their own product, their own data storage, basically their own little environment. And what happened over time, the whole thing organically grew. And now we have data in multiple places, in different formats, and everything. This is obviously getting in our way if we want to use everything for AI or other use cases. So what we're doing today is we're putting a lot of emphasis in re-architecturing incrementally what we're doing. And we focus, so we have picked GraphQL as the common language that describes what you want to get, and then the individual teams can think about how do they provide this data. And what this does is enables us to slowly refactor things under the hood, but keep developing features for our product, keep the product functional. So this is a journey for us, but really employing GraphQL enabled us to have results quickly, get to the data quickly, get to all the data quickly, and over time really refactor under the hood. And you see the keyword here, premature optimization. So this is something that I learned a long time ago. It's don't always optimize everything before you implement it. Implement it first, see how it's being used, and then go and optimize selectively based on the use cases. So that's what we're doing. And then really the one thing I also wanted to emphasize is multiple data sources. I cannot emphasize this enough. The power you're getting from correlating data, from putting data together, is really amazing. And we're just at the beginning of that journey. It's just something to be really aware of. AI and other things really become powerful once you start bringing data together. And you can do a lot more with that. So, and then another thing that we learned is once we looked at all our data, obviously, naturally, we started creating reports, we started to create visualizations, we started bringing all the company together, all the business functions to use those. But what we learned very, very quickly is it's not really scalable. And that's where we are at the moment. We have people that are constantly reworking Power BI or other things that we're using. Based on requests, people go use it, they find one little thing they don't see, we need to recreate the data, we need to recreate the visualizations, and it takes a long time. And we don't have that many people and not that much capacity to always do it. So we are basically with what we have right now we're stalling. And this is really when we start thinking about AI, and this is what I'm saying. The foundation for AI is one thing, but now we are in a position where we can start employing AI on data that is understandable, that is correlated, that is there. And where AI can really help us with is, instead of anticipating what somebody wants to know, somebody can ask AI a question. AI understands what data is there and can start constructing the answer for you. And this is really what we're most excited about now, being basically very much not at the end of the journey, but far along the journey. We have the data, we are ready, and we are already seeing some great results putting AI on top of things. So that's just really what I wanted to share. In summary, really invest in your data today. You can't do it tomorrow. Do more than just gathering data. Think about what you're gathering. Think about what you're going to use it for. Think early about bringing more data sources together. Classic example, we always have a customer ID in our product, but it took us a long time to actually go and correlate that with Salesforce and who is actually that customer and what is he doing. So think about that early on. It's really powerful. Think about your architecture. I'm sure most of you can relate to that fact that data is in multiple places. Think about a way, maybe GraphQL, maybe something else, to bring your data together, to intercept where you are instead of re-architecturing everything. And use your data. This is also really important. Don't just think it's there it won't get bad, it will get bad. And then you're there, you're looking at it, and you find that you can't use it anymore, or one little thing is missing. So use your data, very, very important. And look at AI if you are frustrated with somebody creating reports all the time for you and having a long turnaround. I think AI will be really perfect for that. So that's really the topic of today. If you allow me just for a minute, I also want to point out, this is where we are in Slovakia. Great team here. We have offices in Žilina, in Námestovo, but we're also remote. A lot of people are working remote in Slovakia, so if you consider working for Quest, if you're interested, talk to us. We support remote, hybrid office scenarios. Really, really interesting. We are mainly in the .NET Azure space. We have job openings. There's a QR code. If you want to go to our page, you can go up to our booth, talk to us. We would love to welcome you in our team. So sorry for the sales pitch, but it's one opportunity to have a lot of brilliant people in one place. So really want to point that out. And that's it for today.